Hello squatties, welcome back once again to the Shattered Isles. As always, I am D. You'll notice that I have people with me today because, as I said last week when we killed the Embermaid, this week we're hunting a Drask. And I'm gonna level with you guys, I've never been very good at hunting the Drask. Now, the Drask is it's not really a cousin to anything as far as I can tell. What it is, this is a lightning beast. Probably one of the first ones you're really going to encounter. In fact, you see it right there. The Drask has 8 attacks. And it is there's its first one actually, the lightning blast. You saw it take a small hop forward and then gather lightning into its mouth. And then it blasts out in a straight line. That is very difficult to dodge. In fact, a lot of the Drask attacks are very hard to dodge because they have very subtle tells and they're very quick. Right there you saw the Drask's full charge. Takes a short hop, then a longer hop, and then a very long hop. And it always goes the same distance unless it runs into something like a cliff face. There's the sideways slam. It moves its body slightly away from where it's gonna go. And then throws itself in a direction kinda like the quill shot. The tail swipe is probably its most difficult to predict attack. Ow. That was a claw swipe I'll talk about in a minute. But the tail swipe, you saw it there. It pauses for a second, looks the direction it's going to start the tail swipe in, and then spins around a 180. It does have a claw swipe like I mentioned before. In fact, you saw it there. It moves back one of its front legs, the other one, and then lunges forward with the other one. There's the enrage going off. I'll talk about that in a second. Settle down, cat. This is not the time. Couple of things. Alright. This is already going a little pear-shaped for my team. Alright. Now, some of the attacks I haven't talked about. The enrage. First, I'll start with that. You saw it gather lightning around its entire body. It doesn't really move very much when it does this. So, once the lightning starts to gather, move. Get out of the way. You're getting them. The enrage also doesn't really last long. It lasts longer than the Embermaids, but it does also gain a couple of new attacks, and dear God, that bug out really made it difficult to predict what was coming. Or actually, it doesn't gain any new attack. It gains one new attack, but it also gains the ability to enhance a couple of its others. For example, the lightning blast you saw, it can do up to 3 blasts in quick succession. The second and third one will actually push the Drask backwards. So the other thing it really gains from this is the tail swipe becomes a 360-degree arc, as opposed to a 180. The only attack it gains is how it actually ends the enrage, and that the Drask has a unique way to do it. I'll talk about it when it comes to it. There you see the 360 tail swipe. Going to avoid the full charge. one thing about the lightning, it's very dangerous because it hits hard and it's very difficult to avoid. Okay, there you saw the only attack the Drask gains while enraged is the final stomp, where it will raise one of its front feet. It's always been the right foot in my experience, but it might do the left sometimes, and then brings it down. And that's actually another way the Drask is unique, because it is the only one that gets a second pulse of the enrage aura, namely when it deactivates. I don't know what happened there. I got a frame rate drop massively. There goes the tail. That is a big deal because while it will still use the sideways slam attack, whew, that was lucky for me. The tail, without the tail, the sideways slam, not nearly as dangerous because you can actually just avoid it by getting being a lot closer. Right, the only thing I haven't talked about is the one attack there it goes, the front end slam. This is actually suddenly turning out very well for us. But anyway, the Drask looks at a Slayer near its head, takes a step. Oh wait, that's the Colossal Wave. I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong entry. But it takes a small hop in the direction that it's going to move, raises its front end up along that same path, and it has a slight curve, straightens out, and then slams down. It's very quick, but honestly, that is probably the Drask's slowest attack. Couple things to note though, the Lightning Blast. Lightning Blast is actually usually how the Drask likes to start the fight. When your team or you are far away, it will open up with that. So watch out for the small hop and the Gathering Lightning, because the Drask will just shoot you from a very long distance. The Lightning has very long range, and once it starts to fire, like once it's actually firing, it is very difficult to dodge the lightning. Because, I mean, it's lightning. You're a human being, ultimately. It's theoretically possible for you to dodge it, but I mean, come on. Again, it's a bolt of lightning from what basically amounts to a dragon. I know I've been talking really quickly and kind of non-stop about the way the Drask act, but that's because the Drask is just that kind of fight. It's very quick, very kinetic. And you can usually tell with the Drask how well your team is going to do very quickly. Also, yes, the Drask will occasionally just start off enraged in the second round because it's, you know, pissed off at you. There. Like I said, it usually opens with the Lightning Blast, and it starts to do the 3 more often as it takes damage. I would have sworn I was out of that blast radius, but hey, whatever. Now, you might think, oh, it's only got 8 attacks. Last week you showed us something with 9 attacks. That's true. But the Drask's 8 attacks are probably more dangerous than the 9 from the Embermane. Now, the first hop on the full charge you just saw does not have a hitbox. Once the second hop gets going, though, it does. Everything after that first hop is basically one giant hitbox. So be ready to move. Oh, I guess it does have a 9th attack with that little bite thing it just did to me. Now, another thing about the Drask is, as far as I know, there is not really a good opportunity on it, because it's hard to knock down a creature that's this slow slung. Especially one that can move as quickly as the Drask does. I might go quiet here for a minute because I need to concentrate so we can fight this thing. Okay, the model has officially broken. And it's resolved, okay. Also, you might notice one of the easiest ways to avoid the lightning blast, not this one, but the mouth blast of lightning, get to the side of the Drask, because it will track you up until you're basically not in front of it anymore. Oh, it knocked somebody off the edge. I'm dead. Like I said, you can dodge some of the lightning blast, but it's very difficult to do. Also, yeah, be careful of that because the Drask has zero issues with just firing off a blast of lightning before you can really see it. This is a very pragmatic beast. And actually, on observation, what I thought was a 9th attack is actually just part of the front end slam. It's the head twist. Shit. Ow. Okay, this also gives me an opportunity to talk about what makes the Drask and other lightning beasts so dangerous. Because their status effect. Shock. The shock status effect, what it does is it renders you It's basically a silence at the end of the day. Renders you unable to use items or to interact with the world around you. Oh, come on. I was way out of range of that. Defense potion real quick. Well, that was a struggle, but we got it. Alright. Once again, I'm going to do the outro during this part right here. Yeah, I'm not a fan of fighting the Drask either. But let's go ahead and talk about it. First off, the lightning blast. Probably the iconic ability of the Drask. Hops forward a small amount, lightning gathers in its mouth, and its head tracks on its target. It'll charge for a moment before firing. Be very careful. Get something between you and the Drask if it's tracking you, because dodging the lightning itself is insanely difficult. Now, when it's enraged and in later parts of the fight, it can actually fire up to 3 shots in rapid fire order. The second and third shots will usually knock the Drask backwards a little bit. Next up, the full charge. Makes a very short hop that doesn't have a hitbox, a longer hop that does have a hitbox, and then a very long one. That third one is the big one, though. The only way the Drask does not go the same distance every time, though, is if it runs into something like, say, a clip face. Recommend getting to the sides as much as you can. You can technically roll through it, but hey, why risk? Next up, the sideways slam. Drask looks to one side and leans away from the same direction. So if it's looking to the right, it'll lean to the left. Very quick wind up. It then throws its body the direction it was looking. And be careful, because this attack has a very fast wind up. So the second you see the Drask pause and start that look, get moving. Next up, the tail swipe. Pauses for a second, looks the direction it's going to start the swipe in. So if it's looking to the right, it's going to swipe to the right. Same with the left. Does a small hop and spins in place, swiping its tail in a 180-degree arc. When enraged, what the Drask will do instead is it'll start the same way, but it spins a full 360. So you're not safe if it spins to the right and you started on its left side. You're not safe. Well, you wouldn't really be anyway, because the head does have a hitbox on the tail swipe. All right. Front end slam takes a very small hop in the direction it's going to start moving, raises the front end of its body along the same path with a slight curve, and then straightens itself out as it raises before slamming down. This is the Drask's slowest attack, as far as I can tell, once the actual attack starts up. Next up, the claw swipe. The Drask looks at a Slayer near its head. One of its front feet will actually kind of slide back a little bit, and then the other one comes forward as it launches itself forward, slashing with the... So if it, let's say, it moves its left foot back, it'll then swipe with the right foot, launching its entire body forward. Its head and claw both have a hitbox. Recommend going either directly away from the Drask, towards it, that's a little bit lesser, or the way it's going to swipe. So if it's swiping from the right, go to the Drask's right. Because if you go along the path of the swipe, there's a good chance your roll ends and you get nailed, because that swipe has a long, long active streak. And also the front foot. Oop, that was your fault, cat. The front foot that does not swipe, the one that just uses a balance, also has a hitbox. I've been hit by that before, so be careful. Alright, there's only two things left. The Enrage and the final stomp. The Enrage, the Drask will gather lightning around its entire body for a moment, and it doesn't really move a lot. It does kind of move. And then the aura blasts out very quickly. So once that lightning starts gathering, get moving. And then the only Enrage attack that the Drask gains is the final stomp. Raises one front foot. I've only ever seen it do this with the right foot. Pauses for a second, and then slams that foot down on the ground. This is a unique ending to the Enrage because the Drask actually is able to send out its aura, its Enrage aura again, which will do the exact same thing as when it activates the Enrage. So when you see that foot going up, get away. Get away from it. I thought it had a 9th attack, but as I said, I figured out pretty much that that's just the starting hop of the front end slam. So be careful, get ready to move. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoy making this video. I didn't enjoy fighting the Drask because I hate that thing. But if you did enjoy, please feel free to like or favorite the video. You can also leave a comment down below if you have anything you'd like to say. And if you want to keep up with me, never miss any of my current series, then consider subscribing to the channel and joining the squadron. That does help me out, and I really do appreciate it. As for that, folks, I have been D. We fought one Thunder Beast today. Next week we're going to fight another one in the form of the Quillshot's cousin, the Nezaga. I hope to see you guys then. But until next week, folks, I have been D. Good night, and good gaming.